So in this video, I want to talk about getting tightness in the setup in the deadlift in this mid to upper back area. The common words usually used is, I guess, packing your lats, getting your lats tight. A better cue is taking the slack out the bar, which I'll explain why in a sec. So just to demonstrate what we're trying to achieve is that when you're in this bottom position, you want to have tightness in this upper back. You want to be pulling the slack out the bar, so when you come up, it's a nice smooth movement and you don't have this loss of, I guess, this thoracic area, and the shoulders tend to drop forward if we're not pulling that slack out of the bar. As a result, what can happen is you will lift, but your shoulders are still pulling down, so the knees will extend in this position, okay? If I'm lifting here, well, the rest of the lift is going to come from mostly my hips and my lower back to complete the movement. That's one of the causes to why the knees can shoot up, of not taking the slack out the bar properly. So, commonly it is taught that you should pack your lats or close your armpits, some sort of cue which is related to the position of your body or keeping tightness in your muscle. Typically pack the lats. So this is going to be an internal cue, and I find this is a misleading cue and it doesn't work very well, in particular for beginners who haven't deadlifted a lot, or even people who have deadlifted a lot but haven't been taught the movement properly. It is a bad cue because this is me packing my lats or getting my upper back tight. So I can do this big retraction here, but I still haven't taken the slack out my bar. So I can be tight, but it still looks jerky. It's pretty light, so you don't really see the shoulder lag or my knees shoot up. But if I have 200 kilos on the bar and I have not taken the slack out of my bar, as I said at the start of this video, what can happen is you get this shoulder lag falling forward, the knees extend too early, then you end up in this really, I guess, shoulders in front of the bar, and you're really pulling with your hips and your back to lift the weight off the floor and missing out on using your quadriceps. So rather than think of packing your lats, the cue of take the slack out the bar, that's what we literally need to do. And it's a very simple cue. It is just pulling the bar, think you are pulling it vertically towards the roof, okay? So if I'm here, I'm just gonna pull the bar up. I don't want to rock back, so I'm not pulling backwards here, because now you think of like my line of pull is going somewhere in this back diagonal fashion. We don't want that because I'm going to rock into the heels, which you can see like this. My shoulders are behind the bar, and that's not going to be a very optimal starting position. So rather, you want to think that you're just pulling the bar. The line of pull is going to be straight to the ceiling. Okay? So from here, I've got my balance in my midfoot. That's it. You can listen to the click of when you're doing it. Okay? When you hear that click, it is there's a space between the weight plate and the bar. There's a little small space. We want to close that gap. Okay, we want to bring the bar to the surface of that top of the hole of the weight plate. So that is what it's meant by taking the slack out the bar. The good thing about that cue, it is tightening, it is doing the lat tightening and the upper back tightening and all these muscles, I guess from about here upwards. That is being achieved. Like, you do want tension in those muscles. You do want them in a contracted state before you lift the bar off the floor. However, if you focus on pulling the slack out the bar, if you think of an external cue or the end outcome, those little movements of the body which are going to achieve that end outcome, they will do it anyway. Okay, so if you focus on the end outcome, pull the slack out the bar, all the little movements that make up that are going to happen. Okay, so again, from here, I'm just going to pull on the bar, straight up from there. Opposed to doing this. Sure, you can hear the click of the bar, but it's not pulling the slack up this way. You're getting clicked because the bar is moving forwards and backwards. Okay? So this is not pulling the slack because look, that's the slack. So I can be in this position with no slack being pulled out the bar. Versus if I just take the slack out, my upper back's already tight, my lats are packed, ready to deadlift.